Okay, so God bless everyone. I am Sailen and Mangidia. So for today's video, we will tackle about the BRUNE'R's constructivist theory. The major theme in the theory of BRUNE'R's is that the learners construct new ideas based upon their current or past knowledge. So in this topic, we will learn about the three BRUNE'R's main concepts. So first is representation, second is spiral curriculum, and third is discovery learning. So later on, we will discuss about these three. Representation is the ability to represent knowledge to our learners. So, there are three stages. First is inactive representation. At the earliest age, children learn about the world through actions on physical objects and the outcomes of these actions. Okay, so sa inactive representation, mas makalearn ang learners through actions on physical. For example, imo silang gitudloan unsaon pagsulat. So imo silang pasulaton aron makabalo sila sulat. So mo to ang akong example. So the second is iconic. Iconic representation. This second stage is when learning can be obtained through using models and pictures. So sa iconic representation, mogamit ka og mga models and pictures nga ipakita nimo sa mga students para dali ra kay nila mag-gets imong gimina. Okay, so the last one is symbolic. Symbolic representation, this uses symbol system to encode knowledge. So encode knowledge, in my understanding, it means receiving of information. Spiral curriculum. So this is spiral curriculum is the second main concepts of BRUNE'R's. Spiral curriculum. In spiral curriculum, teachers must revisit the curriculum by teaching the same content in different ways depending on students' developmental levels. The students will not understand the concept or topic nga imong gi-discuss if teachers plans to teach it using only the teacher's level of understanding. Syempre, mga bata manggod na sila. So dili na to sila kapariha og levels of learning. So that's why nga naay sundon nimo nga curriculum kung unsa imong itudlo sa ilaha. Discovery learning. So this is the last main concepts of BRUNE'R's. So discovery learning, it refers to obtaining knowledge for oneself. Okay, so discovery learning, maka-learn ang students sa iyaharang kaugalingon. For example, ikaw nga teacher, nangutanang ka sa mga students, unsay taste anang lemon. So, for example, ang students wala siya ka-taste anang wala siya nakakaon anang lemon. So, iyan ang i-try. Mukaon po siya lemon para makabalo siya unsay taste anang lemon. So, mo to siya. Okay, so let's move on to the theory of instruction. So, there are four major aspects. So, first is predisposition to learn. Second is structure of knowledge. The third one is effective sequencing. And the last one is reinforcement. So, predisposition to learn. BRUNE'R's believe that any subject could be taught at any stage of development in a way that fits the child's cognitive ability. So the animal is a predisposition to learn. For example, namang yung mga students nga kanang mga fast learner kay sila. So pwede nimo sila tudluan nga kanang maka-fit sa ilahang levels of learning. Pwede ra to siya. Oo. Structure of knowledge refers to the ways in which a body of knowledge can be structured so that it can be most readily grasped by the learner. So, according to BRUNE'R's constructivist theory, knowledge is structured in a hierarchical manner with new information being integrated into existing mental frameworks. For example, in learning about animals, a child may first categorize them as mammals, birds, reptiles, and etc., and further classify them based on specific characteristics like habitat or diet. Effective sequencing. No one sequencing will fit every learner, but in general, the lesson can be presented in increasing difficulty. Brunner's emphasized the importance of sequencing learning tasks in a logical and progressive order to facilitate understanding and retention. For instance, in math education, students first learn basic arithmetic operation before moving on to more complex concepts like algebra and calculus. Yeah. Reinforcement. Rewards and punishment should be selected and paced appropriately. So, in Brunner's theory, reinforcement involves providing feedback and encouragement to learners to strengthen their understanding and motivation. For example, praising students for correctly solving a problem reinforces their learning and encourages them to continue engaging with the material. Okay, so let's move on sa categorization. Categorization. Bruners gave much attention to categorization of information in the construction of internal cognitive maps. Categories are rules that specify four things about objects. So, Bruners highlights that the role of categorization in organizing information and making sense of the world. For instance, students may categorize the animals based on their characteristics, such as fur, feathers, or scales, to simplify their understanding of the animal kingdom. So, sa kaning categorization na siya for kaning for things about for rules that specify things about objects. So, first is criteria attributes required characteristics for inclusion of an objects in a category. Second is the second rule prescribes how the criteria attributes are combined. The third rule assign weight various properties. The fourth sets acceptance limits on the attributes. Okay, so there are several kinds of categories. Identity categories, equivalent categories, and coding categories. So, identity categories, categories include objects based on their attributes or features. So, identity categories refers to the groups that individuals identify with based on shared characteristics or experiences. Um, in education, this concept can be applied to understanding students' backgrounds and cultural identities to create inclusive learning environments that resonate with their life experiences. Equivalent categories provide rules for combining categories. So, example, um, nakasulat. Then, equivalent categories in Brunner's theory refer to the different ways of representing the same concepts or idea. For example, another example, in mathematics, fractions and decimals are equivalent categories that represent parts of a whole. Then, third one is categories that a coding system. The third, coding system, categories that serve to recognize sensory input. So, Brunner suggests that the learners develop internal coding system to organize and interpret information. This system helps individuals make connections between new and existing knowledge. For instance, students may use mnemonic devices or visual to code information for better retention and recall. The principles of Brunner launched the notion that people interpret the world mostly in terms of similarities and differences. This is a valuable contribution to how individuals construct their own models or view of the world. Okay, so that's for all. Thank you and God bless everyone.